So I've done a video quite similar to this a while back on my fitness Instagram account, and was just talking about how pushing yourself out your comfort zone and doing things that you might not want to do can actually really benefit you physically and mentally. And I just wanted to do kind of a similar thing, but talk more upon what the men's walks have been doing for me. Obviously, if people have noticed, we're running men's walks every month, the first Sunday of every month, and we also do women's walks every month as well. And it's just a little video really to talk about my experience with Thrive and what it's done for me. Obviously I'm more comfortable talking to a camera now than I was before, but it's still a bit out of my comfort zone, so everything that comes out is completely raw and off the tongue, no scripting, no nothing. It's just normal, natural thing. So early on last year, well, to start off, I've suffered with mental health issues, depression, anxiety and PTSD from the age of 17, after losing a close friend. And it's always been there, but I've always kind of masked it through going out up until I turned 19, 20, 21 and really got into the gym, and that was my safe zone, benefiting myself physically whilst also improving my mental health by kind of blocking out all the negative thoughts and the anxiety. That was working well for me up until early on last year. I'd went through quite a rough experience that I'm obviously not going to go into for personal reasons, and ever since the start of early on last year, every day from like March up until around September was just horrible, dark days. Couldn't find myself getting motivated to do anything, lost the will to train, to eat well, wasn't enjoying the job that I was in. Nothing that I was doing was working really, and even though I was okay talking to friends and family about the way I was feeling, I was never really getting deep into it, getting inside and kind of rooting it out from the in. So up until September, every day, like I said, was quite dark and was suffering quite bad really. Up until September, one day, I'd never suffered with suicidal thoughts of any kind. I always had days where I thought, I'd be better off if I wasn't here. I know a lot of people do that, but it was never actually something I acted upon. It was always just a thought really. It got to around September time and I'd been out with my mates. I was just driving home from his house one night and kind of just zoned out into this kind of dark void that I was in. And obviously this was months building up until this point. So driving home from my mates one night and just zoned out, like I said, and just, it's horrible to talk about, but it's something that needs to be talked about. So like I said, I zoned out and all I could think about was suicidal thoughts. Life would be better if I wasn't here. I wouldn't have to have this like heartache and this kind of pain every day and this suffering. So I was driving home and decided that I was gonna attempt to end my life. Picked up my speed to about 70 miles an hour on a 40 and just went head on towards this tree. And it was just, before going into this tree, there was just something at the back of your mind saying, this isn't what you need to do, this isn't the way forward, and this isn't going to help. So I snapped back out of it just before I got towards this tree and pulled up, and found myself having a bit of a breakdown, coming to the realisation that after months of mental torture and suffering that I'd essentially gone to end my life. I'd went to find a permanent solution to a temporary problem, and that's a phrase that will stick with me for a long time. A permanent solution to a temporary problem. These dark days don't last forever. And sure, I had a good few months of dark days, and near enough every day was dark and dull. But where I am now compared to them, I cannot vent it enough how grateful I am for not acting upon what I was going to do, by not following through. And I'm in a position now where I'm starting a job soon that it's something I've been looking at for a few months, helping people, and something that to me isn't really working because I get to do something that I'm passionate about and that I love doing. I'm now part of a committee for the Thrive men's walks, which I'm going to tag in this video and tag on the post. without these walks. And you know, we always speak to Bri Crane. Obviously, if you don't know Bri Crane, he's the main man who started off these walks. And as much as he says it's, you know, it's a joint effort, the people who take part are the ones that make it that it is what it is, and that's very true. But if it wasn't for Bri setting up this little thing he's got going on, and it's not really a little thing anymore, there's so much that's going to happen in the future with this, and I'm very glad and grateful to be a part of it. But if it wasn't for these walks, I can confidently say that I don't think I'd be here right now. Having that, you know, having that one Sunday a month to look forward to getting out in nature and doing what I love, and, you know, talking to fellas that I wouldn't even bat an eyelid at in the streets, and kind of building a relationship with these fellas that I've not got with anybody else, because I can genuinely go with them and kind of confide in them. And even though we might not share the same experiences with our mental health, I don't think I'd be here right now. Having that, you know, having that one Sunday a month to look forward to getting out in nature and doing what I love, and, you know, talking to fellas that I wouldn't even bat an eyelid at in the streets, and kind of building a relationship with these fellas that I've not got with anybody else, because I can genuinely go with them and kind of confide in them. And even though we might not share the same experiences with our mental health, we do have the same emotions and feelings, them feelings of guilt, regret, anxiety, depression, PTSD, you name it. No matter the situation that we're in, we can still relate, because them feelings are always involved in stuff like this. And like I said, it's not really a video for attention or likes. I don't care about likes, to be honest with you. I'm at an age now where I'd rather use my social media for good rather than to brag and show off what I'm doing in life. But yeah, that's just basically a little thing that I wanted to talk about. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while now, but not really had the courage to do. It was just talk about these walks and what they've done for me. And I know a lot of people, you know, this might not be their thing. They might not want to go out on a walk, they might not like the idea of talking to people they don't know, but that's the beauty of it. If I didn't speak to these people that I don't know, so to say, I wouldn't be here right now. And that's just the plain and simple truth, to be honest with you. Without this support network that's been given to me, I wouldn't be here right now. Obviously, I've been going to therapy once a week, once every 2 weeks, and obviously that's played a big part as well. And I've had the luxury of having people that care about me kind of help me financially with that, and I'm very grateful for that, and I always will be. But ultimately, being able to have that one day a month where I can actually look forward to it and kind of live each day knowing that this day is coming keeps me going. Yeah, it's quite a long video this, I didn't mean to rant on as much. I know a lot of people might see the length of the video and think, nah, I'm not listening to that, I'm not watching that, but it's just, I thought I'd make this for those people that don't really have a voice, because I was once the person that didn't have a voice. I couldn't really vent my emotions without the fear of being judged, you know, as the stigma goes with anybody, especially men. You know, if you talk about how you feel and you're weak, you're not masculine, you lose that sense of masculinity and you're not a man. That really isn't the case. Now that I talk a lot more, if I have a bad day, straight into the group chat with the other men, and we're talking about how we can resolve the issue. and by talking and going out of my comfort zone in that sense has helped a lot. And this is just for anybody that wants a support network like this. The men's walks are the first Sunday of every month. There's at least an easy 50 people, 50 men turning up at a month, and the numbers are just going to keep rising. So if you want to be part of something big and you want to be part of something that you think will help, even if you don't like talking, we've got fellas that come on these walks every month and they don't speak a word. They just take in what other people are saying and have general chit chat, and they go home. Later on we'll get a message in the chat, didn't speak much today, but I picked up a lot of things that are going to help me. And that's just it. The support network's there, and this little thing we've got going on is going to keep growing. So thank you, Bri Crane, for setting this up, and thank you to every man that's turned up to these walks and put something into it to make it as great as it is today. If you've made it this far watching, I appreciate it. Like I said, it's not really a rant or a vent or an ask, you know, a preach for attention. It's just a video for those who feel like they can't speak up. So yeah.